The AECT Standard Number 1 states, candidates demonstrate the knowledge necessary to create, use, assess, and manage theoretical and practical applications of educational technologies and processes. The AECT Standard 1.1 states that candidates must demonstrate the ability to create instructional materials and learning environments using a variety of system approaches. In EdTech 542, I had to create a PBL about waves. In this project, I included an overview with various components. In the project map, if you click on the Student Learning Guide, I included learning outcomes, a variety of formative assessments that are original, and also instructional strategies for all learners considered. In EdTech 501, I researched RSS in education. I also figured out 3 creative ways to use RSS in the classroom. In this class, I also created a video for teachers to learn how to incorporate RSS feed readers. In EdTech 501, I researched the flipped classroom model and created a presentation all about what it is, how it is utilized, and any challenges presented with it. In achieving the AECT Standard Number 1, it has impacted my professional practice in many ways. For one, I have been creating a lot of instructional materials and learning environments that are specifically designed for my learners and instructional outcomes. I have learned how to effectively integrate technology and technology tools that fit my instructional goals and allow me to have flexibility and engage my learners in many different ways. In learning about the RSS feed system in education and staying current on new approaches, technology tools, instructional practices, and different ways to integrate technology and tools in the classroom, I have learned how to subscribe to different blogs and websites in a more effective way, which allows me to be on top of everything that's happening in the world right now. The AECT Standard Number 2 states that candidates develop as reflective practitioners, able to demonstrate the effective implementation of educational technologies and processes based on contemporary content and pedagogy. In EdTech 521, we were tasked with creating an integrated unit. I created my unit on habitats. And the purpose of the unit was to help learners, especially first grade learners, explore the topic of habitats and create an ebook of their learning. The whole website features different aspects of the unit. All assessments for the unit were planned with a first grade student in mind. This project connects most strongly with the AECT Standard 2.2 that states candidates implement appropriate educational technologies and processes based on appropriate content pedagogy. In EdTech 505, I had to evaluate a class tool I've used for many years, ClassDojo. Most closely connects with the AECT Standard 2.3 that states candidates must demonstrate an inquiry process that assesses the adequacy of learning and evaluates the instruction and implementation of educational technologies and processes. I was able to survey teachers in my same building who used the same tool. What I learned from it was that you can use tools for many years and never truly appreciate its educational value or instructional value. In achieving the AECT Standard Number 2, it has impacted my professional practice in many ways. For one thing, in using appropriate educational technologies, I've learned how to be more reflective on what kind of tools and for what reason I'm utilizing that educational tool, which in turn helps to improve the learning of my students. Assessing and evaluating these educational technologies has allowed me to be more critical about how I spend my instructional time and what tools I bring into the classroom. I believe that this has made me a better educator, in that having that reflective practice enables me to be much more thoughtful about what kind of tools I use. The AECT Standard Number 3 states that candidates facilitate learning by creating, using, evaluating, and managing effective learning environments. Allow me to show you some artifacts that help demonstrate this standard. In EdTech 502, we learned all about building and designing websites that adhere to the design principles. Here's an example of a website I built all about bats. Probably the most powerful thing about learning how to build your own websites is being able to customize the content on your website to fit your learners. Another website I built in 502 was a collaborative project where students would work in groups to find facts. This one is all about desert habitats. And as you can see, it has many links and other principles for the students to utilize. Finally, in EdTech 542, we had to design a PBL and design assessments. On this website, you can see I have 2 formative assessments and a summative assessment for the end. Throughout my EdTech journey, there have been many lessons learned, specifically in EdTech 502, where I learned how to create content and repackage it in a meaningful way. This has benefited my students greatly. I teach first grade, and teaching them even the most basic research skills is very difficult with the type of websites we come across. Being able to build my own website, free of ads or other distracting or inappropriate content, allows my students to zero in on those specific skills I want them to learn. This has made their learning very meaningful and powerful. I have been able to design different assessments that match learning targets and goals. In this way, I control the entire learning environment and make it more meaningful for my learners. The AECT Standard Number 4 states that candidates design, develop, implement, and evaluate technology-rich learning environments within a supportive community of practice. Please allow me to show you some artifacts that demonstrate this standard. In EdTech 503, I decided to evaluate how we administer online assessments and to create an instructional design report about best practices when testing online. There was a reflection blog component. Every week after the week's readings, we would create some sort of a writing and place it onto a blog for our peers to review and comment on. I also spent some time reflecting on my own teaching. And in this one, the relative advantage of using Basic Suite in the classroom, I shared about the various ways that I use G Suite in the classroom. I took what I learned and created a professional development session for my colleagues. The name of my session was Engaging Young Authors. And in the workshop, I was able to help teachers understand the benefits of utilizing digital publishing tools. As an educator, I get very excited by things that I feel benefit our students' learning. And being able to reach out to colleagues, either through collaboration, or even through some sort of professional development, I feel that they benefit greatly. In EdTech 541, I had to create a reflective blog where I would read articles of the latest trends or technology practices. In having a reflective blog, I was able to share my blog with other colleagues at the school that I work at too. And I feel that reflection is a very important component of an educator's life. In that way, I was able to reflect on my own practices and bring in new knowledge, new skills, and new learning to the classroom. The AECT Standard Number 5 states that candidates explore, evaluate, synthesize, and apply methods of inquiry to enhance learning and improve performance. Please allow me to show you some artifacts that fall under this standard. In EdTech 501, we had to create an annotated bibliography of research articles on educational technology. This artifact showcases different past and present articles about theory of educational technology. Inquiry is all about having a question and finding a way to explore that question. In EdTech 535, I explored gamification and formative assessments and how those two can be combined in the elementary classroom. In EdTech 504, I conducted research on learning theories and the SAMR model. With this paper, I was able to figure out a way to enhance learning for students and how I can utilize the different models of integrating technology and how to incorporate different learning theories to benefit all students. If there is one thing we can be certain of, it is the fact that technology is always changing and evolving. Throughout my EdTech journey, I have learned a lot about different learning theories and the many iterations of EdTech in education. What I have found most powerful is looking at the learning theories and devising different ways to enhance learning and improve student performances. It allowed me to see how different approaches, learning theories, and current models for EdTech can influence my own teaching in my classroom.